Well, it looks like we've made it to the final exam, week 8, in our Brewing 2500 class. Abby, it's been fantastic. I've learned a lot from you, and I want to thank you for putting up with me for 8 weeks. My wife will tell you that's not an easy task. Anyway, along the way, I broke the leg. That wasn't fun, but I'll tell you what, making this beer was fantastic. It's an American wheat with rye, AWR. So yes, as far as the style, it is a 1D American wheat. Serving this beer, the proper glass is a Weizen glass. I have pre-rinsed it with water. I make sure it's extremely clean on the inside. So we're going to pour this beer. Moment everyone's been waiting for. Well, I've had a couple of these, not tonight, but I have had them over the last few days. It's very good. I was very happy with it. So, with that, nice. Nice head. I'm going to shake it up. I'm going to pour more of the yeast in there. As far as the color is concerned, it looks a little dark in this photograph, but as far as the SRM, I don't know how good of a comparator this is, but I'm putting this beer a 3 to 4 on the SRM scale. On my label, I have information about the SRM, the IBUs, so I'll read that all as I go through this. So for the aroma, when I open the bottle, I might have gotten that yeasty, bready, flour, no toasty, none of those aromas. It was a doughy, bready aroma. Maybe a little honey, there's a little sweetness. Definitely picking up the yeast. The yeast is clean. There's no off aromas. That head is still going strong. I'm really happy with that. Haziness of the beer. It had a beautiful, fluffy, mousse-like foam. Nice, tight, white bubbles. And look, they're just clinging to that beer cleaned glass. I'm a certified beer server, and this is the only way I would serve this beer. I've taken an oath of office. Foam retention, more than 60 seconds. Foam texture, mousse-like. Carbonation, very high. We'll say fast rising bubbles. Okay, so now we'll go to the aroma. I get no alcohol. There's nothing just knocking me down on the hops. I might be getting a little bit of it's floral. It's very, very mild. Might be floral, might be herbal. Malt, as I mentioned, it was more doughy, more bready. Some of the yeast as well. So those two paired together very. So I'm going to go back to the hops. I gave it another sniff. I might be getting floral, just a hint of citrus, but the esters, 0, which is par for the style. Phenol, I might be getting just a little bit of a peppery, spicy aroma, but very mild. Flavor and aftertaste. I am picking up a little bit of alcohol. I'm going to say mild. Hop flavor. I'm going to go with a little citrus, maybe a little spicy. I'm getting some sort of spice. Maybe, it's a little peppery, something like that. It fades just as soon as it comes on the, down the throat. The malt sweetness is medium. It's not a sweet beer. The malt sweetness and the bitterness, they feel balanced. Well, this beer just keeps getting better. Astringency, none. So I'm going to mark low. Body is mouth coating. I mean, it is just beautiful. It's just a nice, silky feeling on the tongue. High carbonation. Boy, it just fills your mouth up with bubbles. Finish, like I said, was very short. Might last 15, maybe 10 to 15 seconds at the most. So the oxidative qualities, age qualities, I don't get anything in this beer. I mean, this beer is fresh, well made. None. Is it desirable? Yes, it's very desirable. Balance and drinkability, desirable. Overall impression. So I'm going to reserve that because I'm going to kind of go through the BJCP guidelines, and I'm going to pair it to the beer. Of course, I made this one to style. This was a competition beer. One of the things that I'll also mention are the off flavors. And from my St. Louis University beer sensory evaluation sheet, I'm going to mark down phenolic. I did get a little pepper. And I'm going to mark down yeasty. That I got was certainly bready. But both of those are okay for the style. Almost forgot something. At the very end, I have the date code information. And this beer was terribly fresh. I bottled it the 9th of February. Today is March the 7th. I will sell it until June the 9th. So I'm right in the early stages of this beer being released, and pretty happy with that. So another interesting fact about this beer is I used Brewer's Friend when I brew my beer, so I record everything there. And the software gives me back information about the alcohol ABV, alcohol by volume, which was 5.4%, which is within style guidelines. The IBUs were 16.8, again in the style guideline. The SRM calculated 4. Visually, I might go with 3, maybe 4, but you know, my original gravity was 1.05, which is right in the middle of the guidelines. My final gravity came in at 1.009, right in the middle of the style guidelines. And my alcohol level was 5.4, and 5.6 is the highest, so it's again right in the sweet spot of the ABV. So from that standpoint, everything was in style. So overall impression, I think this hits the mark. It is refreshing. It has a little more hop characteristics and lesser yeast in that the German beers, of course, are going to have the phenols, banana, clove. These beers should not have any banana or clove. They should be very clean fermentation, which mine was, by the way. I used White Labs WLP001 California Ale. The bready, doughy, grainy wheat flavors definitely were complemented by the hops. I think I went into that pretty good. The bitterness and flavor were all balanced. The aroma, bready, doughy. There was a light sweetness. Esters, there should be none. Banana is inappropriate. The hop aroma, but maybe low to moderate, and I definitely had a low hop aroma. Could have citrusy, spicy, floral, or fruity character, but no clove. I didn't get any fruit. I might have picked up a little floral. Certainly did get a little spicy. And yeah, maybe a little citrusy. I know I tasted the citrusy, pithy, you know, that was more noticeable than in the aroma. For appearance, pale, golden, clarity, should be hazy, big, long-lasting white head. This beer, honestly, I probably wouldn't touch it from the standpoint that if I'm trying to make something to BJCP guidelines, I think this one it covers all the marks. But if I wanted to make it better, let's just pretend I had an issue with the fermentation temperature, which I will send you the chart. I had a great fermentation temperature. You know, the rye that I put in this beer, which, by the way, I'll send you the recipe, but the rye definitely, I think, added that pepper, that peppery note. It wasn't the yeast. Again, maybe I could have gotten that peppery note if I would have ramped the temperature up, but I didn't want that. I wanted to allow the rye to do its thing. As the hops, I used Willamette and Centennial. So I used an ounce of Willamette at the 60-minute mark for the bittering. And then I threw another half ounce in at Flame Out for the aroma. Willamette's going to give me spicy aromas and flavors. It's also going to give me herbal. So with the Centennial, I'm looking for floral aromas and also citrus. Well, Abby, I cannot thank you enough. You've been wonderful, inspirational. You've been a pleasure to learn from. And I just wanted to say again, thank you. This beer that I've just made, this American wheat beer, wow, it's amazing. I mean, it's one of the better beers I've ever made. Anyway, I've learned a lot, continue to learn, and hopefully one of these days I'll be able to work in this trade. Again, thank you very much.